Disconnects.
Go. Yeah.
All right. It looks like we're live now. And we have everybody here. Should we go around the screen too? I mean, you guys don't need any introduction. Everybody knows who you guys are, but should we give some introduction anyway?
Yes. I don't mind.
Here is Mr. Pedro and Antonio.
And then right underneath me, we're sitting right on top of Asim and his guitar. We're like teabagging him, like we're right on top of him. And then beside us, we have Salo here, Mikael Salo here.
Hello, everyone. Happy holidays.
And then to the corner right there, it's hard to point.
Right there.
Yeah, right there. In that corner there, we have Eugene from Ginger. He needs no introduction. This man needs no introduction. Well, I want to thank all of you guys for taking some time to sit here with us and chat in our annual end of the year Facebook live stream tradition. Last year was a disaster, so let's hope that this year is slightly better.
I wouldn't call it a disaster, but I would call it was interesting.
Yeah. Well, it was a learning curve.
Hey, come on, it was epic. It was absolutely epic. A&P extravaganza that will be written in the history books for generations.
I want to start by maybe we should do a little bit of a recap of the year that we just all had. I don't think everybody had something great happening this year. Perhaps the only exception being Asim. The only thing great that happened to him was him breaking his shoulder. That's the only yeah.
But as far as I see, he's all right now. Asim, are you all right now? Is your shoulder okay?
I mean, it's getting better. I can play guitar again, and I could do things, but I don't want to. I don't want to show people exactly what is going on, but like it's good now. It's getting
great
better, and
this. Yeah, great to know this. I wish you full and complete recovery as soon as possible.
I don't think anybody had a better year.
It was a disaster, though.
But I don't think anybody had a better year this year than Eugene. Eugene had the best 2019 of everybody here.
Guys, the way you see this is absolutely different from what I see and how I experience this. Because, definitely it was full of events. I traveled around the world, played 152 shows this year. But everything has its side effects. I am so much worn out by now that it is really hard for me, to look back and recollect and to remember all these things positively. Because I'm just honestly really tired of everything connected with playing live shows, because there were too many of them. Of course, thinking logically and just clearly, it has been a great year for me, for the band. We've done tons of tours, tons of shows, like I say, 152 shows in total. But it took a lot of efforts. It took a lot of sacrifices. It changed. This year completely changed my life. And it changed me as a person. I am like it's a statement. It's a statement now. I am a completely different person now. It just such things never happen without the consequences. And I cannot say whether the consequences are positive or negative. It is not for me now to decide, but definitely everything changed. And let's see. A lot of things are extremely good. Extremely good. I'm really happy about a lot of things in my life, but definitely there will be some side effects, some negative things. Talking about things like in particular, we played the tour with Amorphous and Soilwork. Before this, Ginger released Micro EP. Then we went to the studio. We first of all composed and recorded Macro album. Then we went on Summer Festivals tour, played Wacken, a number of huge festivals. Assault stood out because this is one of the best gigs I've ever played. Then we went to the States, played our first ever headline shows in the States, and I met you, Pedro, there. So, and As always, it was a great experience meeting you and doing the interview together. Yeah, and then in the middle of the American tour, we released Macro album, and it was a huge success. And thank you, Pedro and Antonio, for your review on this album, because it is one of the best reviews I've seen, definitely. Yeah, and then we got back to Europe and played the European leg of the tour. Yeah, supporting Macro, and it's actually it was a sold out tour. It was a sold out tour. There were only 4 shows which are not sold out of all 36 ones. Yeah, and now I'm back home. I'm back in Kiev, extremely tired, but as you can see, I'm more or less positive. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was
a bit insane.
I think was an insane year for Ginger. Was an insane year for you. I mean, one of my favorite albums of the year was Macro. My favorite EP of the year was Micro for sure. Nothing came even close.
But Salo ended off the year really good.
Yeah, Salo. Yeah, before we get to Asim and his broken arm, because he's going to have to tell everybody the story of how that happened. Before we get to Asim, Salo finished off the year with 2 releases. He released an album with Everfrost, and he released an album with none other than Metal De Facto, which is like your new joy.
Yeah, and someone put the Empire Not Fall.
Yeah, that's Philip from.
Someone in the chat said it. Yeah, and hey, happy holidays to Marianne as well in the chat. And
happy holidays to everyone.
Yeah, and definitely Eugene, you deserve your rest now, so take all you can
obviously.
from it.
Obviously, I'm going to have 2 months off before we start another tour. Yeah, and I'm going to just be completely off music. Of course, practicing bass every day as always, but I'm going to do a lot of things. I'm flying to the States on the 3rd of January just to have holidays there, just to travel around, because I definitely need time, to rest, to distract myself from music, to distract myself from music business, I would say.
Yeah.
So
well, I think that's good.
Salo, how did the Metal De Facto album? How was the feedback for you guys from that release late in the year?
The feedback has been great. Like having been someone who's always kind of been in the indie scene, and everything that you achieve is like super, super hard. It feels good if there's like a really good review in a Finnish, like a physical magazine, for example. There was this Inferno magazine, which is like a Finnish metal magazine, focuses only on metal, and there was like 50+ releases, and Metal De Facto was like the top-rated album there, like Imperium Romanum. So that was like that felt really awesome, because I remember actually when I sent my first demo there, like 7 years ago or something. They put it in the section of demos that they call the trash bin, which is for the absolute worst releases. So I was there, and they were like, "Yeah, this release is crap," and especially Mikael Salo's voice is annoying. So seeing that when I was a kid, I was like, eh. So now getting this review was like amazing, and it's been very positive all around.
No, when Mikael Salo, his voice is annoying. I've seen Asim's face. It was like. So let's get to Asim for a little bit here, because when we went to Finland this summer, the first thing we saw was him with his arm like in a sling, and we're like, what happened? Too much guitar playing? Too much shredding?
Yeah.
So everything is fine now, right?
It's getting better, and basically it's just still in the recovery phase. I was just calculating yesterday that how many months it's been. It's been August. I mean, the mid of August it happened, so it's been about September, October, November, and still December going on. 4 months. I still think it's going to take a couple of more months as well that I can get the whole motion or the movement back, but gladly that it's recovering. So time to time I do have pain, because I'm slowly and gradually putting up some weight on it, but it's getting on a positive side. I mean, it's going upwards, meaning it has a good vibe coming across. But of course, what happened is what happened, but I just got to move on and keep the things rolling. So the first time with the guitar on my shoulder, played this month, in the beginning of this month, it was bit getting used to because of the weight of the guitars. And this guy right here is the most heaviest that I have. So I went on doing with that. So it's getting better. That's all what I can say.
I was going to say, so from time to time, you still have pain, and I think it's going to take time to heal 100%.
Sorry?
From time to time, you still have some pain, but it's going to take time to heal 100%.
Time takes time.
Yeah.
So it will.
The case.
It'll certainly be all right, but it would take time.
It will take time.
But
It will.
You know what?
Time. Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. Sorry to interrupt.
you can go.
Oh my God! It's like we're having a live stream with Canadians. Everybody's so polite.
Yeah, metalheads are too polite.
Metalheads, Eastern Europeans, and Canadians.
Yeah.
I just wanted.
Go ahead, Eugene. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to say that fortunately for Asim, he is not a sportsman, because I used to be in sports when I was a teenager, and I actually knew people who had similar injuries. And in sport, once you have such a problem, it is actually extremely difficult to get back on the rails after it and get completely, in shape, because definitely the amount of pressure, the amount of workload is much, physically is much bigger there than in music. And it takes sometimes years, and it's sometimes for some people it's never way back. Yeah. But fortunately we are just musicians. We do not need to lift a few 100 kilograms above us. So it will take time, but you will be completely all right in a few months.
Yeah,
absolutely.
precisely. Sure. Considering the factor, even sports guys and so on, but I look up to, and after that the shoulder got broken, I started to study that how many people are there in the world who have broken their bones and still rock their asses off. Gerard Butler is one of them. He's broken nearly every bone in his fucking body, and he goes on. So that's what I look up to, and that keeps me going every day. That it's just one broken bone. It's really a disastrous one, but it still is.
You know what, Asim? You don't know about this.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I'm having a bit bad connection, and I lost what you said. But I just wanted to add that actually I broke my right hand twice, and every
time
I had to learn how to play almost from scratch, because right hand is very important for me. It's basically what makes me different from the others. My picking technique. Yeah. So every time, all these 2 times, I just was learning to play bass again. Yeah. It's good that it is not like the hand is the shoulder, and it does not influence your picking. If it was something like here, that would be much worse.
Right. Correct.
So moving on to perhaps better things, besides Eugene, which is like the person that had the greatest year ever, the other thing to happen in 2019 that's worth talking about is Slayer retiring. I really want to hear from you guys your thoughts on Slayer calling it quits. Do you guys really believe that this is it? There's not going to be any more Slayer?
I hope so. I hope so.
Same reply as Eugene.
Yeah, let me explain my opinion. First of all, I am not a big Slayer fan. I do give them a lot of credit. I respect them for being Slayer. Yeah, but I don't have any records. I do not listen to them. Yeah, so when I was a teenager, of course, I checked them out and just decided for myself, this is not my band, this is not my cup of tea. And nowadays, I feel even more respect to them because they decided to do so. And why? Let me explain my opinion. I think that nowadays we have a sort of stagnation at modern metal scene, because look at this. Most of these headliners slots at big festivals, they all are occupied by 90% of them are occupied by bands who are actually 30 years old, 40 years old. And there is no space for newer bands. There is just I don't know whether you agree with me or not, but this is just my opinion. and there is no space for newer bands. There's no way for newer bands to occupy these slots to make them, go further. Yeah, and Slayer is one of those bands who are brave enough to say, this is enough. This is enough. Because, in my opinion, every musician has a limit. A limit of, writing good music, making good albums. And when you are 30 years old as a band, you definitely used your limits. You used your potential. Yeah, I'm very doubtful that Slayer can come up with something which will be same good as Angel of Death. Or, I don't know, God Hates Us All, as an album. Because I when that album was out, I was blown away. I really loved that. But after so many years, I don't believe that a band that old can make something that good, because we have examples. We can have examples of other bands, let's say even from this big four of thrash metal, and every new album is worse than the previous, no matter what reviewers say. No matter what reviewers say. This is, again, I don't want to offend anyone. This is my opinion, and that's it. But this is it. This is what I think about this. And this is why I do believe that sometimes, not even sometimes, quite often, for many old bands, it is time to say enough. Enough. We are retiring. And I hope that for Slayer, this is the end. Because this way, they will be able to save their face. They will be able to save their reputation and preserve their place as one of the greatest metal bands ever.
I don't disagree. Asim, what do you have to say?
No, I just read one of the comments saying that, Slayer is overrated. Let's not forget, Slayer is the reason that thrash metal has existed. So let's not overrate or underrated. I saw them live in Tuska, and I have to be honest, I was screaming my ass off. Sorry, not for me. Not for me. It's great. You guys done your thing. Even I saw Metallica as well, and Eugene and I, we used to discuss on a lot about Metallica when we were touring together. But at the same time, it's the same way that I put. Eugene might get upset about it, but he would understand me. That it's the same way that I put like Opeth in the realm as well. Opeth is good as it is, but not live for me. I want to see something happening extraordinary. And time has come that, of course, Slayer or Metallica for me, they don't do anything live for me at all. So, it's like those days are different. But, okay, I'm the new generation and so on. But if I see Ronnie James Dio on the stage, I would have been feeling completely different, even if it doesn't move. That's a different thing because it's the emotional attachment for me. But at the same time, what Eugene said, that gap is missing for the new band to come up and go like, okay, it's our time. Like, can we do it? No, because Metallica is headlining. Can we do it? No, because Slayer is headlining. Can we do it? No,
Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, and many others. Yeah,
it's always the same thing that is happening. And of course, once you have a fan base for a longer period of time, you always have the fan base for the rest of your life completely. That is in the country genre, that is in the metal and the rock genre, for instance. So once you have that fan base, you are just living by it for the rest of your lifetime, basically. So you don't have that much of a gap for the new bands to come in. And that's why, in a way, I feel good about the factor that Children of Bodom has ended, but I feel sad about it at the same time. But there is a new gap and space for it to be filled in. If that doesn't happen, it's the same way that we're talking about dictatorship here, We're not talking about democracy here. Like every 4 years, a president changes, new guy comes in and so on. The new wave of music comes in. It's like the same way. If any moment Metallica pulls out another album, boom, Billboard. Why? Because they have such fucking huge following on the back as well. It's like you can create better music, but it would never see the day of light just because there's a giant sitting who has a monopoly. So, I consider that to be, I agree 100% with Eugene, but declaring that Slayer is overrated, no,
absolutely not.
That would be considered like, let's say, from now on, it would be considered that, hey, Ginger, Metal De Facto, Witherson, or all the other bands are overrated because they are doing it because they did it 30 years ago. What? it's just a matter of time. So go back in time if there was a time machine, and then you would have seen what Slayer has done to the market. I mean, Slayer was bigger than Metallica at a time as well.
And not only to the market, Asim, not only to the market, they have done a lot to the music genre, to the genre in general, and not only musically, but also in terms of image. Image.
Yeah.
Let's look back at the 80s. They were evil as fuck. Yeah, and
exactly.
Yeah.
Correct.
Salo, what's your take on the whole Slayer thing?
He's just kind of sitting back.
Well, I think it kind of depends on the band, like how fast they run out of creative juices, of course. But I think maybe that's more often the case, that like old bands kind of lose their mojo from their music. But if you think about someone like Devin Townsend, I mean, like he seems to have like an endless wealth of creation, and he just like albums just come out, and the quality doesn't really go down, in my opinion. But one thing I really don't like is the thing that bands do these farewell tours, and they sell it as a farewell tour.
Okay, now you're taking taking my next topic. That's exactly where I was going to go. Yeah. That's the perfect segue from Slayer. By the way, I just want to say this. We went to see Metallica during the Hardwire tour for the only reason that I just wanted to see Metallica once, and then walk away saying I've seen them live once, and I'm happy with that. I don't have to see them again. The amount of people that go to those shows just to say that they're there, that they were there, is incredible. Half of them never heard a Metallica song. They just want to go there just to say, take pictures, put it on Instagram. I was there. Yeah. So I hate those shows. I'd rather go see a show at the Opera House in Toronto with 400, 500 people than go to see Metallica play in Toronto with 30,000 people. It's not fun at all. But now Salo took my segue, because for as many bands that's announced retirements, there's also bands announcing reunion tours
and farewell tours.
And farewell tours. I mean, there's bands that seem that they've been on a farewell. Kiss has been on a farewell tour for 10 years. So what's your guys' take on those whole farewell tours?
Also, Slayer did a farewell tour, then they came back around.
No, but there was the second leg of the tour. They just added shows. No, if they come back in 5 years and they do a farewell tour, that's a different story. But
if I may, I mean, that's the other thing as well, that so many times we just put the other bands in a box and say like, oh shit, fuck them, they need to let us get the throne now, or they need to let us be there. Well, Ginger is one of the examples. They were the underdogs. Look at them today. I mean, look at Ghost. They were the underdogs. They have achieved in 10 years selling out arenas. So I mean, that makes a difference when you have the vibe, when you have the creative element tool with you, and you're going for it instead of sitting back home and just being like, there's gonna be more space given to it as well. You can't be sitting back home and just create nothing and start screaming out like, oh well, nothing is happening. That's why I'm bringing up Ginger here as well, because look at them. I remember the time they used to have the special Sprinter that I still remember.
I still remember Sprinter because I was driving it last summer.
So they used to be there, like going on the tours on that van, and today they are as headlining most of the festival they used to open for, basically. So same with Gold. 20 years ago, that's the same thing.
Just to give you an idea about you're saying about Ginger, the first time I saw Eugene in Toronto, they were part of the Cradle of Filth tour. They played at the Opera House. I think at that time you guys were traveling in a van, like in an extended size van, if I remember correctly. Then
it was bandwagon.
Yeah. So then I see Eugene this year here, a year and a half later, not even 2 years, about a year and a half later.
Like the decked out bus.
I know, they got a fancy bus, headlining the show, sold out. Like the tour was absolutely sold out everywhere. In Toronto, not only was sold out, they had to move them to a bigger venue. Originally, they were playing at the Hard Luck Bar, and I think within a week of the tickets going on sale, they had to move them to the Opera House where Winter Sun played when they were here. So that just tells you that the amount of work that these guys have put in is definitely showing, because there's a lot of hardworking bands out there. But I said this at the beginning of the stream, and not just because Eugene is here. I said this to him when I saw him. I don't think there's a hardworking band in 2019 than Ginger. What you guys did in 2019 it's like unbelievable. Like I don't think you can put words on it.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you for these kind words, but I want to underline a very important fact. It is not correct to say that we have done this work in 2019. We have been doing this work for 10 years non-stop, and only now we can see, and you and I, we can only see the results now. This is why it seems like 2019 a year of Ginger. No, it's just the time and place, let's say, when everything we have done starts to pay off. And this is a good lesson for everybody in the music industry all around the globe. You need to be prepared. Every single new and young band need to be prepared to work for years and have nothing in return for years, just to be successful someday, sometime in the very, very far future, in a very, very far galaxy.
No, but you know what? What Eugene just said reminds me of a conversation that I had offline with Asim about some bands that call it quits, and then they put out an announcement that's saying, you know, we're deciding to like take some time apart because this and that, and we were talking about like, why not just be truthful? Why not just come out and say, listen, we're not as popular as we hope we would be. We haven't sold as many records as we hope we would be. We're kind of tired of doing exactly what Eugene is saying, which is like working almost for nothing for years and years and years to hope one day see the light at the end of the tunnel. I feel that sometimes some people are just not truthful to themselves. I think you have to. I think you have to know where you are, how capable you are. A guy like Salo, for example, this guy has worked hard on his.
Guys, say hello to my son. Say hello to my son.
Hey.
Hello.
Yeah, помаши рукой. Hey, hi everyone.
Hello.
Yeah.
What is?
Just a second, I need to help him.
Yeah.
So, Salo, you know how it is. You have to work really hard to try to get something.
От грязи, что она лежала в том большом ящике, и от пластилина. И тогда не можно будут настоящие личинки?
Да, я сделаю, хорошо, сделаю.
Family time with Eugene.
Sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. I'm just
No
I'm
problem.
alone with my son, and there is nobody to look after him. So sometimes he will interrupt us, but this is the best I can do.
Man. I'm also here with my son. Sometimes he interrupts us.
Yeah.
Your son is at least 12 years older than mine.
No.
So
there is some difference.
Salo touched
Winter
on the
sun.
reunion tours. What's your guys' takes on the reunion tours? Asim, what do you think about reunion tours?
It's a great market game. I mean, like, of course, when coming from a business side, I could completely say that it's the same thing that, you know, look at Motley Crue now. I mean, I don't know what's happening with their financial zone at the moment, but it's great to bring them back by themselves, putting next to Def Leppard, now going to sell some bloody ass stadiums and all that kind of things. Reunions are great when they're fucking genuine, when they're really genuine. But, you know, doing a farewell tour just for the fuck of it, that, oh, well, you know, let's do a farewell show because we can get more people here. Then after 5 years, we made the earning for 5 years. After 5 years, we'll make another fancy excuse and, you know, bring back another reunion and blah, blah, blah. And we'll see how it goes. But one of the biggest bands that I appreciate, respect, is Rammstein, for instance. From the day one till now, their lineup has not changed. They have not disbanded. At least they were at the verge of disbanding themselves. I mean, like, they've been fighting and so on. They need to have their therapists around with them that we laugh at Metallica about for. I mean, excuse me, it's a machine that make millions. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a lot of boom bada beam happening in the head with all of the people. So reunions are great as long as they're legit. If you're just doing it for the heck of money, after all, at some time it comes in our lives as well that we need to bring food on our table. You know, we are not doing it just out of love for the rest of our life, that, you know, we can sleep on a mattress somewhere and be like, yeah, we're musicians. We played in front of 60,000 people. How much did you earn? Nothing really. It was love. I mean, my ass. Come on. I mean, of course it is. Love is the reason that we're on the stage, but at the end of the day, we need to bring some food on the table as well. But that's my take on as long as it's genuine and it is not just highly based on the fact that, let's fuck around and we could keep trolling our fans and keep going. That's why, it's stated very clearly that it's the farewell tour of Slayer. But that doesn't mean the Slayer would not play a show or two here and there. Maybe.
Salo, what's
I think
on farewell tours?
Yeah, well, I think Kiss. I think they made like their first farewell tour in the '90s, was it? And
Kiss,
this summer, I saw them on their last show in Finland. And then after the show, I was like, yeah, I saw Kiss. And then there was an announcement that Kiss is going to come next year as well. So it's like, it just keeps going for like several decades, which is quite funny. And I also think Manowar did this thing that they had like the final battle or something like the last tour. And then they had a new EP and a press statement that an album is going to come out with several EPs and they're going to do a world tour and everything. Just right after the farewell tour. So there was not even a year that they waited. But they sold a lot of tickets. But I kind of think it's kind of cheap trick marketing, because you're kind of bullshitting the fans, because you're telling this is the last time you can see us. So the fans are willing to pay more for the tickets, but then next year it's already like this business as usual. So it's kind of lying to the fans, I think. So that's why I don't really appreciate it when it's not genuine, like Asim defined very well.
But about Kiss, they mentioned that in any city that they play would be their last time, so they would never play in the same city, which is a great marketing scheme because a city changes for 15 kilometers.
Yeah, and I love how they were playing in Hyvinkää, a city called Hyvinkää in Finland, but then the ending screen of the show was "Thank you Helsinki." That was amazing.
I completely agree with you guys. And I agree with the idea that it all depends on what stands behind your actions and your decisions. If it is genuine and if it comes straight from your heart, and you want to reunite with your ex-band members, like it's happening now. Yeah, as you mentioned, Motley Crue, and I'm sure that in case of them, it is not only money, but also the desire to be on stage together and play music and, fire these hearts of fans again with the notes they perform, and their beautiful singing and all of that things, even though I'm not a fan of hair metal at all. But in another good example is actually Kiss and one more band, Scorpions.
Oh, Scorpions!
Because I remember them playing in my native town of Donetsk back in 2007, if I'm not mistaken, claiming that it was their farewell tour, and they're still headlining festivals. They're still playing. And
next year.
Eugene, I've seen Scorpions twice on a farewell tour. I saw them in 2009, and then I saw them like in 2017. So from 2009 to 2017, I saw them on two farewell tours.
It's a long-ass farewell tour.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is absolutely unacceptable.
This is how we should start our careers. First show. Ladies and gentlemen.
This is our farewell tour. Yeah.
I was just going to ask Eugene, is Ginger going to announce in 2020 that they're going to be doing a farewell tour in 2025 or 2030?
No. You must be absolutely sure. You must be confident that this band, Ginger, will never do things like that. And on top of everything, I can claim, I can make a statement. Ginger will either stay at the scene and keep playing for years and years and years, or will break up all of a sudden. There will be no such things as farewell tours and everything, all this bullshit. No, we'll either play or stop playing. And this is just, I'm absolutely sure about this because I know people I'm playing with. I know this band. And we are too emotional. We are, too straightforward for such, bad moves as, playing 10 more farewell tours or anything like that. Yeah, so I never expect such bullshit from Ginger.
And a good marketing move for Slayer, going back on Slayer, would be for them to come back on a farewell tour, but as the Big Four, because then technically it's not a Slayer tour, it's the Big Four tour. And you see where I'm going with this? So you kind of can get away with it without looking like you're cheated the fans.
Yeah.
You just come back as part of the Big Four and you do another tour. I can see them doing that 5 years from now when they run out of money.
They run out of money. What
I highly doubt.
I'm highly doubtful. Yeah, I am doubtul also.
Spend all that money.
I know, but still, hey, money wants money.
Unless and until they start becoming like Motley Crue, where they lose money in millions in a day. So,
yeah, you never know. You never know. I mean, it's a possibility.
And of course, let's not forget. I mean, this is something that we didn't discuss about. Unfortunately, let's not forget when you reach that level or you reach a certain level in your career, your decisions as an artist are literally about 40%. Why? Because 60% of the things are handled by your management or handled by the companies that really will suck you dry. I mean, look at Avicii, for instance. You could be the biggest fucking star in the world. Look at Jimi Hendrix. He never saw his money for the first 4 years, I guess, or something like that, or first 2 years at least. And he was the most highly paid musician at that time. I mean, in 60s, if I'm not mistaken, he was the most highly paid. So at the end of the day, Motley Crue, whatever we talk about them and so on, of course, their management is highly involved in it. I mean, they released a Netflix movie. It just skyrocketed high. They were back again in billboards. Hey, the iron is hot. I mean, why not to put a more hammer down on it? Keep the dough coming in.
Well, we have an interesting question. I have a question for you guys, but there's an interesting question on the chat asking about what 3 bands you feel like the biggest influences for you guys in the music that you guys are creating.
Yeah, let me start with this because I want to just do this and be free from this for the rest of the year because I've answered this question millions of times in the interviews throughout the year. Yeah. if I have to pick 3, I would start with Opeth, with then second place maybe Mudvayne, and it's really hard. Yeah, because there are tons of them. But Gojira maybe, if we're talking about modern bands. Let's say let's pick one for the third place from the modern existing bands, and it will be Gojira.
What about you, Salo?
Well, for me, I'm gonna have a bit. I'm not sure if you guys even know these bands, but two of them are from Japan. One of them is called Gatherum, which is like a progressive power metal band, which has just like crazy arrangements and playing that is like Dream Theater level, like technically, but it's with like these very nice melodies, and there's a red line going through each song. The songs are very often it's like very long, like 7 minutes, and it's just crazy shit, and it kind of blew my mind. And other one would be maybe Anthem from Japan. It's a band from the 80s. They used to like play the States and stuff in the 80s, like classic heavy metal. And this is a band that's very rare in a sense that now they're quite old guys. The bassist had a cancer in his stomach, and they're in this kind of like 50, like they're in their mid 50s, I think, their age. But they're cranking out these albums that are so freaking good and tight, which is like Eugene said, it's very rare for old bands. And that band is just like amazing. I love them. And maybe last would be Blind Guardian, because that's kind of it's influenced my vocal arrangements a lot, and the way I do vocal arranging for Everfrost and Metal Effecto and all this stuff. So maybe those 3 for me. Yeah, Hansi Kurch, yeah, one of my favorites. Hey, what do you think about him, by the way? That would be interesting to hear, because you're kind of from a different area of metal.
Absolutely. Different area of metal music, and it's a sort of confession, but I still sometimes listen to Blind Guardian.
Ooh,
I was really into them when I was 11, 12 years old. And I sometimes get back to this. For example, when we travel by van, or just when we listen to music all together in a band, and it's my turn to play, music. I sometimes play Blind Guardian, and of course I am blamed for this, and people start throwing cans at me and all the other trash. But yeah, I do love Blind Guardian. My favorite album is Imagination from the Other Side. Yeah,
that album.
And the Mordred song is my favorite ever from there.
That's so good. It's so good.
What about you, Asim? I know Dio probably is one of the top 3, but who else do you have on your list?
What was it last 10, 15 years? Was the question.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's kind of recent. Yeah.
I'm trying to find it. Was it so that, what are the 3 most top influential bands that is the reason that we are making the music, or what was it exactly?
Yeah.
Name 3 bands from
3 bands that influence your music.
Okay, 2. What was it again? Sorry, name 3 bands.
3 bands from the last 15 years that have influenced.
I see him. Just name 3 bands. Just name 3 bands.
Forget the rest.
Winter Sun, Damnation, Blind, just go.
So it was Beyonce. Yeah, it's really a tough question because I haven't been a guy that has been listening to bands and really go forward to start creating music that this is the kind of music that I want to create. But there definitely is one band that I really hope for to make one day to that caliber of music, and that's Pink Floyd. That is something that is there has not been a band that has been coming close to that. That's the biggest influence for me to look up to till today, that there would be something that I want to create that could come close to that. Else than that, modern metal.
Sorry, can you say again? Beyonce?
Pink
Pink Floyd.
Floyd. You were thinking he's talking about Beyonce?
Yeah. I heard Beyonce. I was like,
it's funny.
Then the second one is Kanye West.
But come on. If for example, just to comment on this, I can easily say Cypress Hill or House of Pain, and this music definitely influences me. Maybe it is not seen directly in the music we play, but this is what we constantly listen to, and I like this stuff. Not Beyonce, not Kanye West, but a lot of rap music is cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I grew up listening to Cypress Hill as well, and NWA. A lot of those old school gangster rap, like Ice-T, Body Count, a lot of that stuff, and a lot of that stuff still resonates now. It's just a lot of the new generation kind of like lost track of the quality that was in that kind of music back in the day. And now it's almost like just like a cookie cutter music where like I sometimes I hear it on the radio, some rap songs that like there's not even any lyrics in the song. It's just the guy making noises with his mouth. Which it's fine if that's what you like. I'm not criticizing. It's just not for me. And auto-tuned and all of this stuff. It's just, to me, it just feels so empty. There's no soul.
Yeah, but I think yeah.
That's our take on a music genre which we are not representing in a way. If it is
and rap is also very, 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 very varied. Just like
exactly. If we are doing an or this kind of session would have been going
there's
around.
The auto-tune candy stuff and.
If the pop musicians would be sitting and talking about things, that probably is something the same they're gonna say about Ginger. That's probably the same they're gonna say about Winter Sun or Metal Defecto or Gojira or Slayer as well. What noise is this? Come on! I want to sing about holding her in my arms and taking her to mountains or.
I'm very doubtful about this. I disagree. I completely disagree. I'm sure that a lot of good pop singers or pop musicians do appreciate heavy music and extreme music and listen to it. So it just depends on how, let's say, how open they are and how open-minded they are, and it depends on how clearly they can justify music, not just only by genres but quality and the impact the music has on people. And every good musician has this. Doesn't matter which genres they are working in.
But
but I think generally, like the people who listen to pop music might have the kind of opinion that Asim was talking about. But if you think about the really open-minded musicians who are like the professionals, I'm quite sure they can understand, they can find the quality from there because they have developed like the musical brain so much that they get there's not just noise, but they get the accents and the harmony.
I think Asim is right from a fan, perhaps more from a fan perspective. I mean, I think we see, for example, look what Post Malone and Ozzy Osbourne collaboration, right? Like, I think it speaks a lot for modern artists understanding, because one thing is what you prefer. We all have our preferences, what we like to listen to, what we like to eat, all of that stuff. That doesn't mean we cannot enjoy a well-cooked meal, even though maybe it's not something that we normally wouldn't eat or we wouldn't listen to. I think if your taste buds are developed enough and you're part of that world, I think you can appreciate the work that goes into making a song, either be a Cannibal Corpse song or a Ginger song. I think if you understand and you're aware of what's going on and all the work that's going on into creating that track, I think you can appreciate it. At least I would hope.
Correct. I mean, it's the same thing regarding the fact that there are so many metal musicians as well. Unfortunately, in the metal realm or in the rock realm, they still dislike the other genres of metal. This is an interesting discussion Eugene and I had on the tour. I still remember that we became really close after that. We were talking about Metallica, and we were discussing. Eugene questioned me about that. What do you think is one of the most important album of Metallica in the new era, and so on? And I was looking at Eugene. I was like, okay, well, we have gotten to the point that we can say anything to each other, and we would not get offended by it. But I said Saint Anger, and then we both started hugging each other. We're like, yes, that's it.
This is my favorite Metallica album, Saint Anger.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
I cannot believe what I'm listening to. Seriously?
Seriously.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to end this stream right now. That's it.
So I
guess it's the most experimental in a sense. And it has a lot of raw emotion.
You guys have to exactly. You guys have to explain yours. I know Eugene's got to go, but you got to explain. Like, Saint Anger, really?
Yeah, I do believe. I just think that this is their last great album. They've never done anything better than Saint Anger since that, and I can explain myself. First of all, material-wise, song-wise, these songs actually move me. I start headbanging listening to some kind of Monster or Invisible Kid or Saint Anger song or Unnamed Feelings. Unnamed Feelings is one of my favorite songs by Metallica. Yeah, and one of the reasons, good songs. Then everybody blames them for this bad snare sound. But come on, every time I listen to this, I know this is the snare from Saint Anger because it sounds different. It sounds unique. And listen to what is happening to modern metal music. If we start just checking new albums, especially in these mainstream genres like metalcore or gent, every single band sounds the same. They have the same number of samples. They use XFX for their guitar sound. They all sound the same. 99% of the band sound the same. Metallica did a different thing in 2003. They just stepped outside of their realm. They made something different. They should be appreciated for this. But unfortunately, people are very narrow-minded. And what happened? They were blamed. They were accused of all the things, possible. And here we are. They got back to what is considered to be Metallica, and they only made albums worse and worse and self-copied albums, actually, in my opinion.
Okay, so since we have a bass player here, and you guys we're talking about Metallica, so what about Injustice for All? Like, what's your take on Injustice for All?
This was our discussion.
Did you bring this up, Asim?
Yeah, we also talked about Justice for All back on tour. Yeah, I remember. I remember these chats and these talks very well, and I appreciate Asim for those times. Great times together. Yeah. What I think about Justice for All? It's a great album. It's definitely number 2 for me after Saint Anger. Yeah, but every time I listen to it nowadays, the biggest problem is actually the sound. Yeah, and this is a big problem of the albums, that there is no bass guitar, and they try to substitute guitar with this guitar sound which is very boomy. And I just honestly I cannot listen from A to Z. I cannot listen from the very beginning to the very end just because of the sound. Songs are great, but the production is, in my opinion, very, very poor.
I agree. It's almost like the album was recorded in the garage and the bass player had his bass disconnected.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't
he
think
was rocking out.
I don't
He
think,
was rocking out, but the cable was not in.
yes, yeah. But I don't think that Jason Newsted deserved this, because he's a great bass guitarist. I really love his playing. I really love his bass arrangements. I do not understand why they made this to him, why they did this to him.
Yeah, it's and the funny thing is they re-released all of their albums. I think it was 2 years ago, and they remastered the albums, and they left that album exactly the same way. They didn't add the bass into it.
I have some theory. I have suspicions. The problem is that I read in one of the articles that the reason why they cannot remix it, but because in order to bring back the bass guitar, you need to remix it. So you cannot remix Justice for All. I heard such an opinion because of the drums, because they managed to edit the drums back in the days, cutting the tape, and they just cannot pull things together again, because after these years, the tape is completely destroyed. Yeah, and there is no way to remix the album. This is one of the conspiracy theory, I would say.
Wow, that's very interesting. That's very interesting. Eugene, do you gotta go?
Still have 5 minutes.
Okay, I'm not kicking you out. I just want to make sure you're not late for your appointment. Yeah, you're a tough jiu-jitsu kind of guy. Next time I see you, I don't want you to put me in a headlock because I hold you for too long.
Actually, this is the reason why I have to go. I have my jiu-jitsu training.
See?
And
nice.
I cannot miss it, unfortunately.
He's the best guy to tour with. Nobody fucks with you, simple as that.
Nobody sees me. Nobody sees me. I am only on stage and in the bus, because the last 2 tours in America and in Europe, I spent most of the time on the bus, on the phone, because I'm going through a very serious period in terms of my personal life. A lot of changes, and I spend 99% on the phone. That's why nobody sees me, and this is the reason why nobody wants to mess with me. I just do not exist on the tour. I am in my bunk all the time. Yeah.
Okay, since we have 5 more minutes, I have one more question for all 3 of you guys. We're going to start with Asim, because I've experienced this firsthand. You guys are musicians. Once in a while, you go see some live band perform. Either you go with friends or you go because you want to see the band. How critical are you guys of live bands when you go see the band? Do you go and you just enjoy the performance, or you go and you start like nitpicking at every? And I want to start with Asim because we saw this in person. So we
do it live. Asim does it in the car too.
Even in the car, yes. It's like he's like always critiquing. So is this something that it's built into your DNA? Like immediately when you guys go see a band, and I want to start off with Asim because I saw this firsthand, but or you just sometimes just like turn it off and just enjoy what's going on. Asim?
Do you want to start off with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you want to start off with me because you have seen it already. No, it's not always the case. It's just because, I take myself critically very serious as well. If I do fuck up, then, I don't forgive myself either. So it's the same way that I presume and assume for the other people to do as well, and not just take it like, yeah, we did the best show in the world, and then just get off the stage and hear your recording and go like, what the fuck was I thinking? So I think that's why is the reason why for me Opeth didn't work for me. They sound great, they're fantastic live band, but as a package, like where's the performance? I mean, I could just put a record on coming from a PA in front of 5,000 people. or 20 or 30,000 people and just look in the sky, grab my beer and enjoy, then I don't need to fucking look at the band. You know,
Eugene's face is hilarious right now.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll talk about this. We'll talk about this later.
Exactly.
When we meet.
Exactly. While at the same time.
So what's your on when you go see a live band? Are you like us, or you're a little bit more you get a little bit more chilled and you get a little bit more lost in the performance?
Well, it depends a lot if it's a band I'm really into the music or not. If it's kind of a band like I kind of know them, then I just chill around. And if it's like a band I really appreciate the music, of course I pay attention to those details. But I think if you think about what is a successful concert, like what leaves the most emotional impact, I think it's kind of a combination of elements, because like the audience is of course involved. If the audience is like going crazy and there's this like tribal feeling of brotherhood and sisterhood, that can really make a show be like stand out. But then again, if the band is like playing unbelievably well and the singer is going crazy and everything is working perfect, that can give you like this amazing symphony which lives in your mind. And or if the band is performing like crazy, you know, that can also be. So I would say it's not an isolation, like this element is the thing for me. It can be very, very, very many different things that make a show really, really memorable and enjoyable.
So it's my turn, yeah?
Yeah. Your during the Opeth comments was hilarious.
Yeah.
I would say that it all depends on the band. And especially, not even on the band, but on the genre they're playing, subgenre they're playing. Because if it is, let's say, a hardcore band, I cannot imagine a hardcore band standing still like Opeth and playing clearly all the riffs and just making music, because hardcore is the attitude, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter how well you play. It matters how you perform, not play, but perform. Your energy, the message, the energy, the image, But if it is, let's say, a progressive metal band, the music is the first thing, and this is why I love Opeth. And I actually, the first time I saw Opeth was last May in Spain. Being a fan for almost 20 years, I first saw them last May, and they completely met my expectations. They didn't disappoint me at all, because I never expected them to run around the stage and, you know, just be hardcore guys, No, nothing like that. They just stood still and they played absolutely perfectly. Every single note, perfectly. I was standing next to the bass cabinet and I was listening to every note Martin Mendes played, and I know songs very well. I myself played these songs, some of them, out of that set list they played. And you know what? I only noticed one mistake. Just one mistake. Tiny
Performance.
mistake.
Oh, okay.
And that's it. And this is what I expected from them, because they are Opeth. It all depends on what sort of band you are, what subgenre you play. So, and it just depends from band to band. This is it. So this is my opinion. Yeah.
So before you go, guys, I really know you have to go. What's your take on their latest album?
I love it. And you know what I can say about this? All this after Watershed period, you know, when they shifted to something non-metal, I love all this Heritage album, Pale Communion, Sorceress. I love them, but I always felt like they're missing something. I don't know what. I cannot explain this. And with the latest album, they got it back. Just the vibe. I don't know what it is. It's this word vibe, and they got it.
I felt that I don't know if Asim and Salo listened to the latest Opeth. I felt listening to the album that they were able to create a heavy record without sounding heavy. I don't know if that makes sense.
Exactly.
Like the album is super heavy, but it's not heavy. But it's super heavy, but it's not like heavy from a traditional Cannibal Corpse sense heavy. but it's super heavy. Perhaps one of their heaviest albums in the last 4 or 5 releases. It's just super heavy. But
Exactly,
Yeah.
Pedro.
But I'm
Exactly.
The heaviness
You know
comes
what?
from a different. Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I will interrupt you because I just have to go. But I will. I just a second ago I found, let's say, a connection between the latest Opeth album and Saint Anger. You know what is special about Saint Anger? Is that this is a very, very heavy album without actually being aggressive, without being negative. It is a very heavy piece of music, but it is not really not. It is aggressive, but not negative. Saint Anger is not negative at all, and same thing with Opus. They managed to make an album which is very heavy, but it is not heavy. It is not like death metal, but definitely heavier than most of deathcore bands nowadays.
very interesting. Well, on that note, I know you have to go. I will see you at Summer Breeze next year, and
Cannot wait for this.
And Opeth is there, so somehow we have to take a picture together, all 3 of us. We have to manage to do something like that. But Opeth is there, you guys are there, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys at Summer Breeze.
I'm looking forward to see all of you guys. Yeah, I had really good time chatting. I honestly, I never did things like this, but it's first time for me, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm wishing you Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, have fun, and see all of you as soon as possible.
See you in 2020. Have a happy New Year.
Bye.
Nice
Bye,
to
guys.
meet you. Thanks.
All right. Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
It's even weirder.
Is this better? No.
So the
Let's
comment
All right. This is good. This is good.
That's a true fact.
Blaze.
Okay. So now that Eugene is gone, how shitty is Opeth?
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah,
I haven't heard the latest album. I haven't, and actually, I have never seen Opeth till the time Eugene and I had come to know each other and so on. The first time that I saw them was in Tuska Open Air this year, I believe, and that was for me disappointing. Simple as that. I mean, they're trying to be the new Pink Floyd of metal. They are really trying their hard as they can. Probably, I don't know, because I haven't listened to the latest album. But there you go. See, that's.
Wow, this is what you get when you get widescreen. When you go widescreen, you can see everything that's happening behind the scenes.
Oh yes.
We were very professional while Eugene is on. As soon as Eugene leaves, the booze comes out.
Yeah, the bottle. No, but actually, this is not booze. It's actually alcohol free. So.
Oh.
That's fake.
So it's a mandarin vanilla.
But when you
glögg.
mix it with your blood, the alcohol level in your blood mixed with it, it becomes an alcoholic beverage.
Exactly. Yeah. When it meets my blood, there's a chemical reaction. Anyway, shout out to the chat. Someone said Savage Circus. That's a kick-ass band, by the way. And also Kippis too. Vika, it's not rum, it's glögg. I don't know what it's in English. And someone said that Asim was in prison just before Christmas. Someone named Yusa L. Who might that be?
I was in prison. Well, that's a news for me.
I don't know.
Yeah, someone named Yusa L. Ring any bells, Asim?
I don't know. Hashtag free Asim.
Yeah. And also, he asked if I have white leather pants.
No, your jacket, because you have this white leather jacket. People were asking.
Oh yeah.
If you're wearing it.
No, people.
But he also asked if I have white leather pants.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they said.
I think Asim can help you with the leather. When it comes to leather, if there's one guy that knows about leather, besides Rob Halford, is Asim.
Yeah, it's like Asim is the leather man, the leather vendor of the.
I think the next Helsinki show, he should come riding on a scooter, wearing his leather jacket.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, exactly. I'm gonna heat this Blind Guardian mug.
I think it's time for that. Blind Guardian.
Yes.
Where is he going? He just mic dropped the Blind Guardian and left. So Asim, we're coming back. We're coming back to visit you guys.
Sorry?
We're coming back to Helsinki in 2020.
Oh yes, absolutely, of course, indeed.
So we'll I'll be once I book the flights and I have all the dates, I'll let you know. And we're really excited about Summer Breeze and then our little stop in Finland to see our Finnish family friends. I call it family friends because you guys are like family more than friends.
That's awesome. That's really nice to hear. And of course, the plan continues. That's what we can't expose publicly.
Yeah, we can't say too much because there's all sorts of things in the works here for the summer of 2020. It's going to be epic.
I sure hope so. I believe so. Yes.
I think it's going to be epic. There's all sorts of stuff happening. One thing
it's basically A&P-REACTS open air.
Well, and then there's going to be a little bit of a vacay, but we can't talk too much about that. That's going to happen as it happens. We're going to vlog everything. It's going to be absolutely epic. We're going to vlog our bowel movements and everything. Maybe not that. One thing we have to make time for is we have to go visit Aino's horse,
Harry.
Exactly.
We have to go visit. How's Harry doing?
Last what I've heard, last what I've seen. I mean, when did I see him last? I think that was month and a half ago, I guess. Yeah, he's doing fine. He's doing all right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going.
He's doing his horse stuff, you know.
Yeah, Diane is saying that she loves your Zen background of your video. It looks very Zen.
Very beautiful.
It is. So not only Asim is a great guitar player, he's also a great what do you call it? Feng shui decor guy.
Yeah.
Not my doing. Not my doing.
Not my doing. At least you're honest.
Exactly. Not my. This is the only decoration that I have.
Is that guitar new?
No, it's the same black one. I mean, that's pretty old. I mean, not pretty old, but like it's there.
It looked different. It looked different. All right, guys. So what's on your mind? Is there anything that we haven't covered yet that you guys wanna talk about?
Hey, Sami is in the chat.
Sami. Oh, okay. Hello, Sami.
Gentlemen. I'm surprised that there are only sober musicians here this time.
Well, it's only like 11 o'clock in the morning my time. Like, I mean, like, what kind of, like, you know, I don't start drinking that early.
Yeah.
What time did we start the last time?
Last time we did it in the afternoon, our afternoon, which was your, like, late evening. I think we started around 9 o'clock late evening your time.
We finished when it was like Finland.
I think when we finished was like 3 o'clock in the morning for you guys. 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, wow. That was a great bonding time.
It was great bonding time. You know what wasn't great, Salo? You breaking the furniture at the apartment we rented in Kotka. That was not great.
Yeah.
What did I break?
You broke a dish. Or was it you or Lorelai?
No, it was Lorelai. Yeah.
Okay.
It was her. Shifted the blame instantly.
They put
it in the pillow.
Oh, they put it in my pillow. I forgot.
And then Salo left his dirty underwear in the washroom.
Yeah. My Teletubby was amazing.
Oh yeah, that was Benji's doing, right?
Yeah. Blame it on Benji. Oh, the Teletubby was Benji.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hit.
I was wondering why my pillow felt so weird.
Yeah, we spent like a good hour looking for the damn thing because we thought the Ukrainian lady was going to charge us for stealing her Teletubby.
Oh God, was it Ukrainian lady or was it Russian lady?
I honestly, I can't tell them apart.
But it looked like Chernobyl.
The place looked like Chernobyl. Can you believe it? Asim, you guys were there. This guy, every time we talk about Kotka, he talks about that place, the hotel.
Hotel.
Like,
I mean, Antonio, please. If it is La Hotel, then I don't know what the hotel is.
I know. If that place is a hotel, Asim's living room there, it's a palace.
Yeah.
That's
yes, I only have my medal here.
Hey,
Iron Maiden.
I mean, the credit goes to Aino, not
Beautiful.
to me. I mean,
it looks great. Oh, look at Salo.
Getting excited about my album collection.
Exactly. So you see, I mean, that's the real right there for you, like full.
Yeah,
full of.
Yeah, he's Salo is right here.
Yeah, Salo's right here.
Yeah,
Asim is over there.
Yeah,
I am here.
Yeah, he's there. He's there.
Yeah.
So
I'm pointing at the wall, like Salo is here, like.
You are there for me.
Yeah.
Before dirty underwear in the washroom is definitely related to my kid. Yeah, definitely. You guys are definitely two of a kind. All right. So, Mikael, are you using any kind of pants right now? Somebody's asking.
Yes, I am.
Oh,
you want to see my pants? There they are.
All right. We're technically looking at his balls right now.
You're welcome.
All right. So before we call it a day, I have a couple of questions for you guys about your own music endeavors and what can fans expect from 2020. So I know Asim, let me start with Asim because Salo has I have a bunch of questions for him too, but let's start with Asim. I know Asim, you've been working on some projects. You've leaked out some information, some pictures, some posters. And you have stuff going on with Cantilena. What can you tell right now? What can you divulge right now as far as 2020 is concerned for plans? Like, are we going to see a new album from Damnation Plan in 2020?
Almost like you said Winterson.
No, Winterson. Are you kidding me? Like the only thing we're seeing from Winterson is Yadi's videos and pictures of his backyard. I told you this already. I told you that.
His backyard's amazing.
Yeah. Pictures of his backyard. 2020 is going to be a busy year for sure. I mean, a lot of good things will happen because 2019 had been a very disastrous, not really a disastrous, but a very heavy year for me in a sense that, after the mid of the year, things really started going haywire because of, thanks to the shoulder and everything like that. But 2020, yes, there's a new band that I have. It's called True Cult Club. Least to expose much about it, but there's going to be a lot of things happening from that side. There are members which we haven't exposed yet. Only certain people know who are the members and so on. So we are, due to the holiday weeks and so on, we were not able to finish the things that we are going to put into context, but hopefully in a very special date in February, we will release something. And then with that coming out, then I have, of course, Cantilena next show coming up in Estonia again. I just did the 10th anniversary 2 shows, which is the funny part because Salo's band is going to come with me as well to Estonia to do the show. Also,
he has 300 of them.
One of band number 267 is going to be there.
Which of the bands are you guys taking to Estonia?
Tyro.
Oh,
Tyro. Yeah.
Exactly. And then after that, it's going to be just constantly working on, there's one project that I'm working on and I can't really even say anything about it to the point it's really done and, ready for the mastering and mixing and so on. But one thing that I can say is from Germany. Then the other thing is that the Damnation Plan thing would be working out. We would be starting to literally sit down and start working on the album next year. We already have a lot of songs ready, but making them, put them in one place and make things work out. That's what we're going to do in 2020.
Are you guys
looking forward to it?
Sorry, as far as Damnation Plan is concerned, did you guys make the decision to just stay as you with the vocalist, or you guys are still looking at adding a second vocalist?
No, that decision was made long time back. I mean, that's why we did the new lineup show as well, so this year in May, if I remember correctly. No, we are not going to look for anybody else. I mean, it's just working out this way, and it will work out this way as well. And I think it's better not to just because what it used to be in the past, it's time to move on.
Yeah.
And
that's actually making me very happy right now.
Yeah, me too. I think this to me is good news all around. And by the way, we've heard the new band that Asim mentioned. We've heard at that time, I think there were more demos, but we heard a lot of the material. We know a few of the people involved, and it's going to be very. I think I can say this without giving too much away. I think it's going to be very different from anything that you've done so far.
Correct.
And I think it's going to surprise a lot of people.
That is going to surprise a lot of people and probably going to piss off a lot of people too, which I'm not worried about because that's the one of the agenda as well. Because not everything
that's
has
always
to,
good.
You know, that's not remaining in the same vortex. Salo has heard some mixed songs in a way, but
it's good shit. It's like good shit.
It's going to be very different.
What about you, Salo? For 2020, what are the plans? What can you tell us?
Yeah. First of all, the Asim's year, I want to add one thing. Like, considering that he broke his soldier. Still,
he didn't break his soldier. Yeah, I think his soldier.
Shoulder. Yeah.
My soldier is probably still working.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though you broke your shoulder, you still filmed the Cantileno video while it was just had broken, and you cranked up stuff out. Like the Cantileno video came out. We did an acoustic show. You were doing all this stuff. So like I think that's really like triumphant. Like that's the real stuff. Like when you're actually, it's difficult. The going gets rough. You still keep on working. You still keep, doing stuff. So that's the really cool thing. And that's when you're kind of tested as a musician, I think, as well. And something like that happens, So I really, admire what Asim did this year. So I wouldn't say, like, of course it was crappy, but like it's really positive to see how he like pushed through that stuff. So.
What about for you? What are your plans for 2020? I know you have a lot of things.
Well, this year I had a release for almost 2 releases per month. So it was quite busy for me, like ridiculously busy.
150 bands, it takes a lot of work.
Yeah, 16 releases, I think, or something like that. But next year, it's not going to be, it's only going to be something like 8 releases or something. And Metal de Facto is going to play their first show on 8th of February on the Rocks, Helsinki. So if you're in the Helsinki area, please come see power metal at its rawest form. And we will have the show with Asim's band in Estonia next month in Tallinn. So those are the stuff that is kind of planned. And we might have an acoustic tour with Everforce in Japan. So that might happen. We're kind of still talking about it. So that's going to be cool. And a lot of music and trying to make it big in the harsh industry of music.
Salo is bigger in Japan than Godzilla.
Yeah.
Trying to do the Mongol invasion is the 3rd time.
Well, you got the look.
Yeah. I have to show you something.
Oh. And by the way, through all this time, I think we have to update everybody on your visa situation. So you still haven't received your Canadian visa.
Yeah, when that
no, it was I
have to put it in a wall like a painting.
Okay, hold on, Salo. Asim is giving us a visa update.
Yeah.
Well, I finally had to tell them that, hey, thank you very much, but I think you guys got the wrong year. So they were asking me, they were thinking that I applied for 2019, but I applied for 2018. So I don't know if, Canadians don't have the vision. They have some vision problem, even though I think like it's the same kind of weather around. So, they just got the year bloody wrong. So I just told them that thank you very much.
If they reply back to you saying, we'll give you the visa when Winterson puts another album out, that would have been hilarious.
That would have been the best.
Well, by that time, I'm pretty sure I have the Finnish nationality by that time.
You get it just in time for the next Winterson US tour in like 2022 or something.
Exactly. But this is
4
funny.
years before.
But this is funny that states, which I consider to get a very difficult time to get the visa off, the first time they gave the visa perfectly fine for our workers visa, and now they gave me a visitor visa with multiple entries for a long period of time. So I don't know what's up with Canada, though.
Guys, in the comment section, somebody's asking in Tallinn exactly where. In Tapper, Barbar.
No, that concert will happen in Tapper.
All right.
Perfect. Okay.
So now people know where to show up to see you guys play.
Now I know also where I will have a show next month.
So Salo, what did you had something to show us?
Yeah, I have to show it because you said the Mongol thing. So this is a cool gift I got from a friend. Do you know the movie The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise?
Of course.
On it. So yeah, so he made like a modified version.
Is that you?
Wait.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Mikael Salo, The Last Samurai.
Oh God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, and it's the funny thing is, it's full of B-side Italian cowboy movies. So that's what's in the disc.
Oh my God, that's funny, man. That's
fits well.
I would frame that.
It's The Last Mongol.
Yeah, The Last Mongol.
and
someone asked me and Asim to play acoustic show again in the comment section. So Marianne, that would be nice to do.
About the 70,000 tons that they're playing, but before I do that, maybe we'll finish off with that question. You guys played an acoustic show together. I'm lucky enough to have all these people on the inside, so they send me like little clips of you guys playing, and I got to see a little bit from far away you guys playing. But how was the acoustic duet of the two of you?
It was bloody fun.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah,
we did overtime.
Yeah,
we played for 2.5 hours. Oh yeah,
2.5 hours.
Yeah, it was great.
All together. We did after 1 hour we did a pause, and then after that we just kept on going, and the people kept on asking. So we were like, okay, well, all right. We kept on going.
Yeah,
and we played everything from like HD to Backstreet Boys and Metallica,
but no,
quite varied styles. Yeah, sorry.
No, you guys didn't do any Opeth covers, right?
No, man, I couldn't play that shit. Like I basically had to learn how to play a guitar for this. So.
Well,
it was fun.
I saw
while
we
were rehearsing
at the time, and the crowd looked like it was enjoying themselves.
And I had the best teacher ever. So to learn.
Sorry.
You said you were the best teacher.
Huh?
Me? Nah,
yeah.
I didn't teach.
Yeah. I had the best teacher. Yeah, Asim.
Oh, thanks, man. But it was fun. Like there were so many.
That was the most awkward compliment ever. Best teacher ever. 5 seconds ever. And then, I'm Asim. Yes. Brilliant. Yeah.
Well, let me say this, guys. We're at our time that we set for this. So I before we go, I really want to thank you guys for taking the time to do this again this year. I think it went a lot smoother this year. I think it was a lot better this year. And I really want to thank the two of you, not just for the stream. I want to take this opportunity. I think I've said this to you guys, but I really want to take this opportunity to thank the two of you for being family to us during our visit to Finland this past summer. I mean, the two of you were phenomenal. I don't think I can thank you guys enough, and I don't think there's any words that can really describe how it feels for the two of us to travel all the way to Finland and have Salo meet us at the airport with Benji, drive us all the way to Kotka, spend time with us, be great hosts, and then tagging with Asim at Kotka, and then having him taking us all over the place to the coolest places, traveling all the way to Tampere with us, everything, getting the car, getting everything. Honestly, I cannot thank you guys enough. Our trip was only a success, and it was only as much fun as it was because of you guys. So if it wasn't for you guys, the trip would not have been as good as it was. I think we can all agree with that.
Thank you for coming here. I mean, that was everything that we have been waiting for as well. And it was unfortunate that, the Tuska didn't happen, but well, the time was, we had a lot of times, we had a lot of fun, and that's what it counts.
Well,
it's great that you had a good time. That what counts the most.
Well, one thing for us when we left, we realized that we should have stayed longer, right? And then both of us went through withdrawal, because after we left, we're like, oh my God, man, everything now is so boring. Like, I just want to go back. Like, let's go back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had such a great time.
The final night was, I never wanted it to end.
Yeah, well, it felt like it never ended because we didn't go to sleep. We just went from the Beaver Bar to the pizza place. Picked up
Salo ate my whole pizza.
Yeah, the
garlic
pizza.
Oh yeah, I was like, hey, I'm on a diet. I'm not gonna eat. And
it's like,
I had the pizza. Okay, I will eat.
I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna eat this. Oh, you're not? Okay. And then you ate half of Loreline's pizza too.
So we had honestly, we had such a great time that we obviously coming back next year. So, but next year we can't say too much yet. But we're working with Asim and I know in the background. We're trying to organize some cool shit. And
next year's gonna be the shiznit.
Yeah, next year's gonna be great. And then if everything falls into place once we have the dates, maybe the vacation gets extended outside of Finland into another nation, and we'll continue our adventures there.
Where visa is not required.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Where visas are not required. And I think it would make the whole trip absolutely phenomenal. I think next year is going to be one of those trips that we'll remember forever, that we'll tell our children and our children's children.
Yes.
So, Blind Guardian will write songs about it.
Oh, yeah. They will make an orchestral symphony for it in 30 years.
We'll get Metal De Facto's third album to be about our adventures.
Yeah.
Yes. The A&P-REACTS concept album.
Yeah, that's true too, unfortunately.
And the February gig of Metal De Facto, there might be some surprises coming in that concert as well. So the people who are
so once again, before we go, let's remind everybody watching those dates. So we got February. Salo, hit us with a February date for Metal De Facto, and then Asim is gonna hit us with a show in Estonia. All the details, so that for the people watching, we can get this information out there.
Yes. So 8th of February is the Metal De Facto debut show. Actually I want to show you the poster.
And it's on the rocks, right?
Yes.
On the rocks.
Because I'm so excited for the first time ever to have my own gig poster. So.
Oh shit! Can you save me one for when we go there?
Yeah. And they're all over Helsinki now. So yeah.
I don't care about those. I want one that's not bent. That I don't have to go steal from a urinal.
Yeah. Hey, the urinal ones are special, especially if they're Majava urinals.
Can you do me an extra favor? Can you guys sign that poster for me so I can frame it and put it in this guy's room?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I can save you one.
All right. Yes, I won.
Yeah.
All right. So that
okay, Asim show.
Now it's time for Asim to plug his show. So give us all the details.
The next coming up show would be with Kantilena. That would be 25th of January, where Tyro is playing as well, and that would be in Tallinn in a club called Tapper. Then in May, there's gonna be some shows which I am not able to say anything yet, but the date is set, the band is set, or the bands are set. So we'll see when that time comes, then it will be released. But it is secretive enough that you already know that, okay, that's related to one of the bands that I'm in. So that would be the showcase of that one.
And then obviously the stuff that we're working for our trip will include some of those bands as well. Oh. Evil plans at work. Evil plans at work. Yes. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much for your time today. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to do this. Was a blast. Thank you, Asim, for getting Eugene to say yes and participate on our live stream. Was a blast. And we'll see you guys in 2020. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody watching. Happy New Year to you guys. All the best. And we'll see you guys in the summer of 2020. So
yeah.
Absolutely.
Summer of Love 2020.
All right, guys. Take care.
That should be the song
and
now.
cheers to everyone in the chat. Thanks for tagging along, even though we didn't reply to everything. So yeah, sorry about that.
But thank you guys for having us. Yes.
See you guys.
Exactly. Take care, man. Thank you